Welcome dear student and Jai Swaminarayan. Today I will start your new chapter number 7, System of Particles and the Rotational Motion. Dear student, this chapter is divided into the two portions. First portion is the system of particles. In that we will discuss about the more than two objects are moving in the simultaneously system of particles and the motion of the system of particles when the more than two objects are moving simultaneously in the same direction in the opposite direction. So in this first part of the chapter number 7 we will discuss about the motion of system of particles, and the second half portion of the chapter number 7 we will discuss about the rotational motion, right? So in the first part of the chapter number 7, we will discuss first what do you mean by the particles, what are the system of the particles, center of the mass, how the motion of the center of the mass, that all the things is important for the rotational motion. That is the second part of the chapter number 7. So let us start with the particles, concept of the particles, what is the system of the particles, that all the things we will discuss in this first part of the chapter number 7. So dear student, as I had told you, the chapter number 7 is divided into the two parts, right? First part of the chapter is a system of the particles. So for that we will discuss first what do you mean by the particle? What is the concept of the particles? So let us start with the concept of the particles. So first of all, think about it. What do you mean by the particle? If we take a point like this, it is considered as a particle. We can say that all the objects are made up of the particle, right? But particle is actually a point like object which has a endowed mass. That is means the negligible mass. It has a finite, infinite, some finite volume and the in some negligible amount of the volume, right? So a particle is a point like a object which has a endomass with a no dimension, with a no dimension but the specific mass. So a particle, that means a point like a object which has a some specific mass but has a no dimension, but has a no volume, right? So do you think the objects are considered as a particle? Suppose we consider the object, solid objects like a duster or any other solid object like a one box, we consider as a particle. So which objects are considered as a particles? So first of all the solids which are moving in a straight path. So we can say that the objects, solid objects which are moving in a linear path, right? This all the objects, all the particles of the objects are covers the equal distance in the equal interval of the time. So suppose we consider the any solid objects and the solid objects moving in a straight line, right? All the particles of the solid objects covers the equal distance in the equal interval of the time, right? So for the study of the motion of these solid objects we need to study the motion of only one particle. So in this situation all the solids are considered as a particle, right? So first thing is that in which situation we consider the objects are a particle, right? So first thing is that all the solids are which are moving in a straight line, which are moving in a linear path, are considered as a particle, right? So in this chapter we will consider all the solid object as a one particles, right? So all the particles in the solid object, all the particles are covers the equal distance in the equal interval of the time. So to study the motion of the solid objects, we need to study the motion of only one particles and we can understand the motion of the solid, right? So in this situation, all the solids are considered as a particle. Second, that is that when the distance between the two objects is very large compared to its dimension, compared to its size, all objects are considered as a particles. For example, if we want to study the gravitational force between the sun and earth, here the distance between the sun and earth is very large compared to the diameter of the sun and earth, right? So in this situation, the sun and earth both are considered as a particle. So when the distance between the two objects is very large compared to its size, compared to its dimension, compared to its diameter, we can consider the objects are a particle. So for example, if we consider the sun and earth, right, the distance between the sun and earth is very large compared to its diameter. So we consider the sun and earth both are a particle. And third concept is that when the distance covered by the object is very large compared to its dimension, we can consider as the object is a particle, right? So in this all the three situation, we consider the objects are a particle, right? So in this chapter, we will discuss the system of particles, system of objects. So first situation, all the solids are moving in a straight line are considered as a particle. Second, when the distance between the two objects is very large compared to its dimension, compared to its size, we consider the objects are a particle. And third, when the distance covered by the object is very large compared to its dimension, we consider the objects is in a particle, right? So understand, dear student, the concept of the particle. So here all the objects are considered as a particle, right? When the distance covered by the object is very large compared to its dimension. So we consider the all the objects are a particle. Now what do you mean by the system of the particle? System, that is the or more than one, right? So system of particles is that the system of more than one object is called the system of particle. So if there are more than one object, if we want to study the more than one object, motion of the more than one object, that is called the system of the particles. Or we consider the system of more than one particle is called the system of particle. So a combination of the more than one object is called the system of the particle, right? So understand these two all the point. What do you mean by the system of particle? That is the first part of the chapter, right? So in the first part of the chapter, we study the motion of system of particles. So particles, that means nothing but all the objects, solid objects are considered as the particles, or when all distance covered by the particles are very large compared to its size, we consider the objects are a particle, and more than one particle is called the system of the particle, right? So in the first half of the chapter, we will discuss the motion of the system of the particle. So for and the second half of the chapter is a rotational motion. So dear student, to understand about what do you mean by the rotational motion, first we define the rigid body. What do you mean by the rigid body? So first of all, is the rigid body is same as a solid body, or is there any difference between the solid body and the rigid body, right? So what do you mean by the rigid body? So when the relative distance between the object remains constant with the time, the system of the particle is said to be a rigid body. So when the relative distance between the particles remains constant with the time, the remains constant with the time, remains invariant with the time. Invariant, that means constant with the time. So when the relative distances between the objects, between the particles remains constant with the time, the system of particle is said to be a rigid body. So think about it. All the solids, when the solids are in the motion, right, the relative distance between the particles of the solid remains constant with the time. The relative distance is between the particles of the solids does not change with the time. So we can say that all the solids are a rigid body, but all the rigid body are not a solid body, because the rigid body is a system of the particles, right, and the solid body is also a system of the particles. But we can say that all the solids, in the all the solids, the relative distance between the particles are invariant and remains constant with the time, right. So all the solids are considered as a rigid body, but all the rigid body are not considered as a solid body, as the rigid body is a system of the particle. More than one or two objects are combined together forms a system of the particle. So what is the difference between the solid and the rigid body? The solid body can be deformed, right. The solid can be deformed into the thin sheet, into the thin wire, while the rigid body cannot be deformed, right. So there is some difference between the rigid body and the solid body. So what do you mean by the rigid body? Understand, when the relative distances between the particles remains constant with the time, the system of the particle is said to be a rigid body. All the solids are considered as a rigid body. And what is the difference between the solid body and the rigid body? The solid bodies can be deformed into the thin sheet, thin wire, while the rigid body cannot be deformed, right? So now next point is what do you mean by the rotational motion, right? So definition of the rotational motion, that is the second half part of the chapter number 7, right? So when all the particles of the rigid body performs the circular motion such that the center of all the circle lies in a same imaginary line, the motion is called the rotational motion. So dear student, what do you mean by the rotational motion? Rotational motion is quite different than the circular motion. Circular motion is that when the body is moving around a fixed path, in a fixed circular path, right, that is called the circular motion. But what do you mean by the rotational motion? The body is rotating about a fixed axis, that is called the rotational motion. So when all the particles of the rigid body performs the circular motion such that the center of all the circles lies in a same imaginary line, the motion is said to be a rotational motion, and this imaginary line is called the axis of the rotational. The rotational motion depends on the axis of the rotational, right. So here the circular motion is a different thing and the rotational motion is a different thing. In a circular motion, the body revolve in a fixed circular path, and in the rotational motion, the body is rotating about a fixed axis. So when all the particles of the rigid body performs the circular motion such that the center of all the circle lies in an imaginary plane, the motion is said to be a circular motion, and this imaginary line is called the axis of rotation. So like see this figure, right? If we consider the rigid body like this, any type of the rigid body, and these particles of this rigid body performs, all the particles of the rigid body performs the circular motion, and the center of this all the circular motion lies in this similar only one imaginary line, that is called the axis of the rotation. So if this body is rotating about this axis of the rotation, all the circular path, all the particles of the rigid body rotating, revolving in a circular path about a fixed point, this fixed point is on the axis of the rotation, right? So the radius of the circular path of all the particles is different, but the center lies in only one imaginary line, and this imaginary line is called the axis of the rotation. So see here, this particle has a radius r1, this particle has a radius r2, this particle has a radius r3, this particle has a radius r4, right? So the radius of the circular path is a different, but the center must lies in a only one imaginary line, that is called the axis of the rotation. So this type of the motion is called the rotational motion. Like this body rotates about the axis, right, of rotation. So the motion, rotational motion, understand dear student what do you mean by the rotational motion? So when the rigid body, when all the particles of the rigid body perform the circular motion such that the center of all the circle lies in a same imaginary line, the motion is said to be a circular motion. So dear student, understand what do you mean by the rotational motion? Now what are the examples of the rotation motion? A spinning top, wings of the fan of a ceiling fan, potter's wheel, oscillating table fan. These are the examples of the rotational motion. So dear student, let us see the examples of the rotational motion. The rotation of the wings of the ceiling fan. So the motion of this wings of the ceiling fan is a rotational motion. Here the wings of the ceiling fan is rotating about a fixed axis, right? So a ceiling fan, a potter's wheel is also a motion of the potter's wheels is also a type of the rotational motion. Another examples of the rotation motion is a merry-go-round. The spinning of the top is also a rotation motion. Here all the particles are revolving in a circular motion about a fixed axis, right? So what do you mean by the rotational motion? Understand the when the all the particles of the rigid body perform the circular motion above, and the center of all the circle lies in a one imaginary plane, the motion is said to be a rotational motion. Dear student, the rotational motion is depends on the axis of the rotation, right? If the axis of the rotation change, the motion will be a change, right? So these all are the examples of the rotational motion. Motion of the merry-go-round is also a rotational motion. So here see the figure, here the rigid body rotation about this z axis, right? We know that there are three axes, x axis, y axis and z axis, and consider this rigid body, and this rigid body rotating about a z axis. If the rigid body is rotating about a x axis also, the rotation motion will be changed, right? So here if the rigid body is rotating about a z axis, each point of the body such as a point P1, P2, or we can say that the point P3, that all the things, all the points P1, P2, P3, all the points of the body, right, performs the circular motion. Here the point P1 moving in a circular path with the center C1 on the axis, right? The radius of the point P1 is the R1. Here the point P2 is moving in a circular motion as the center C2 on the axis, and the radius of the point P2 is a R2, right? So this point, all the points perform the rotational motion. Here the point P3 is on the axis, right? And the point on the axis remains stationary. It does not perform the rotational motion. So all the particles perform the circular motion such that the center of all the circle lies on the axis of the rotation. That is called the rotational motion. Understand? So dear student, here similar to the translational motion, rotational motion has the two branches, rotational kinematics and the rotational dynamics. The rotational kinematics is a branch of the rotational motion in which we study the rotational motion without its causes. And rotational dynamics is a branch of the rotational motion in which we study the rotation motion with its causes and the internal property of the object, same as in the translational motion. In the linear motion there are two branches of the motion, right? Kinematics and the dynamics. Kinematics is a branch of the motion which study the motion of the object without its causes, and dynamics is the branch with its causes. So the same as the rotational motion has a two branches, rotational kinematics. Rotational kinematics is a branch of the rotational motion to study the rotational motion without its causes, and the rotational dynamics is a branch of the rotational motion in which we study the rotational motion with its causes. So now dear student, we start with our first point, that is the system of the particles and the center of mass, right? So to study the system of the particles, to study the motion of the system of particle, first we need to define the center of mass, right? So what do you mean by the system of the particles? A system of the more than one object, a system of more than one particle is called the system of the particle. So to understand the motion of the system of particles, we need to understand what do you mean by the center of the mass. So first of all, what do you mean by the center of the mass? So center of the mass is a point in a system of particles at which all the mass of the system of the particle is concentrated. A center of mass is a point on the object at which all the mass of the object or all the mass of the system of the particle is concentration is called the center of mass of the system, right? So understand what do you mean by the center of mass. The center of mass of object is a point at which all the mass of the object is concentrated, right? So here in case of the system of particle, a center of mass in the system of particle is a point at which all the mass of the particles is concentrated, that is called the system of particle, right? So dear student, let us see this system of particles, particle 1, particle 2, particle 3, particle 4. There are more than one objects are there. In this system of particles, the location of the system of particle is a different, right? So in this system of particle, one point is there where all the mass of the particles are concentrated, and this point is called the center of mass. It is denoted by a capital C, right? In the object, if we consider the solid object, a point at which all the mass of the solid object is concentration is called the system of particle, right? So this, the center of mass of the system of particle or the center of mass of the rigid body is depends on the mass distribution, right? The center of mass is depends on the mass distribution in the body. The center of mass of the rigid body, the center of mass of the system of the particle is nearer to the heavy larger mass, right? So if we considering more than one object which have a different mass, and if you calculate the center of mass, the point of the center of mass is nearer to the larger mass. So here the center of mass is depends on the mass distribution in the rigid body, right? So it is nearer to the center of mass. The point of the center of mass is nearer to the larger mass, right? So understand dear student, what do you mean by the center of mass? The center of mass is a point in the system of particle, or the center of mass is a point in a rigid body at which all the mass of the system of particle is concentrated, right? The center of mass is depends on the mass distribution in the body, right? So center of mass is nearer to the larger mass. So now dear student, how we can calculate the center of mass in a system of the particle? But before that, what is the importance of the center of mass? The rotational motion of the rigid body can be easily understood with the motion of the center of mass. For example, if we considering a rigid body like a sphere is moving in the horizontal surface, the motion of the particles, all the particles is a circular motion about a fixed axis, but the motion of the center of mass is a linear motion. So to study the motion of the system of the particle, it will easier with the study of the motion of the center of mass, because here when the rigid body is rotating about a fixed axis, the motion of the rigid body is a rotational motion, but the motion of the center of mass is a translational motion, or we can say the linear motion. So here the rotational motion is a combination of the translational motion, linear motion, as well as the rotation motion. So here when the rigid body is rotating about a fixed axis, the all the particles of the rigid body perform the circular motion, but the center of mass of the rigid body performs the translational motion. The center of the linear body performs the center of the rigid body performs the linear motion, and it is easier to understand with the rotational motion is easier to understand with the study of the motion of the center of mass, because the motion of the center of mass is a linear motion, right? Suppose if we consider this type of the rigid body, if we considering a rigid body is rolling on an inclined plane, right? The motion of particles of the rigid body is a circular motion, but the motion of the center of mass is a linear motion. So to understand the rotational motion, the center of mass is a most important, right? So here to understand the rotational motion can be easier to understand with the motion of the center of mass, because here the motion of the center of mass is a linear motion, right? So that is the center of mass is a very important thing. The center of mass of the rigid body is the point at which whole the mass of the rigid body is concentrated at that point, right? The center of mass is depends on the mass distribution in the rigid body. The center of mass is nearer to the larger mass. So this point is important of the center of mass. So from the center of mass we can understand which part of the rigid body having a higher mass, larger mass, that all the things we will understand with the center of mass. So first of all, in the first part of the chapter we understand the motion of the center of mass, but before that we can understand how we can calculate the center of mass in a one dimension, center of mass in a system of the particles, right? So center of mass in a one dimension. How we can calculate the center of mass of the two object, right? Then after we extend this theory to the n object, right? So here consider the two object having a different mass m1 and m2 situated at a distance x1 and x2 from the origin. So center of mass is a point in the system of these two objects at which mass of both the object is concentrated at that point. So we need to find the distance of the center of mass from the origin. Like this, the center of mass at this located at this point. So here we need to find the distance from the origin to the point C, right? So consider the two object, first object m1 having at a distance x1 from the origin, second object m2 has at a distance x2 from the origin. Now center of mass is a point at which the mass of both the object is concentrated. So here we need to find the distance of the center of mass from the origin, and how we can obtain to calculate the center of mass of the distance of the center of mass from the origin. We need two things, mass of the object and distance from the origin, right? So let us see how we can calculate. So the distance of the center of mass from the origin can be obtained by a formula. Xcm is equal to m1, that is the mass of the first object, into x1, that is the distance of the first particle from the origin. plus m2 into x2. m2 is the mass of the second object and x2 is the distance of the second object from the origin divided by m1 plus m2, right? So here, dear student, if the mass of the first object is located at a distance x1 and mass of the second object is located at a distance x2, the center of mass, the distance of the center of mass from the origin xcm is equal to m1 into x1 plus m2 into x2 divided by m1 plus m2. So this way we can calculate the center of mass of the two objects. The center of mass depends on the origin. If we change the origin reference point, the center of mass will be changed. The center of mass of the system of object is close to the object having a larger mass, that we were discussed previously. So here for the two object, the center of mass can be calculated by a formula xcm. Cm, that means the center of mass, is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2, right? So this formula is extended to the n number of the particles. So the center of mass of the system of n particles can be calculated by a formula xcm is equal to m1 x2 plus m2 x2 up to mn xn divided by m1 plus m2 up to mn, where m1 m2 m3 up to mn is the mass of the particles and x1 x2 x3 up to xn, that is the distance of the particles from the origin, right? So this formula can be written in the form of the summation xcm is equal to sigma I equal to 1 to n mi into xi divided by sigma I equal to 1 to n mi, where sigma n equal to 1 I equal to 1 to n mi is equal to capital M, that is the total mass of the system. If you consider the m1 plus m2 plus m up to mn, that is the total mass of the system of n particles, right? Now here, if the mass of the particle is given to you and distance from the origin is given to you, we can easily calculate the center of mass from this formula, right? So that we will discuss in the next video. But before that, one special case is that, right, two objects having the same mass at a distance x1 and x2 respectively. How we can calculate the center of mass? The center of mass, two objects having the same mass, that is we take the m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m, right? So xcm is equal to m1 x1 plus m2 x2 divided by m1 plus m2. Here the two objects having the same mass, so we take the m1 plus m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m. So xcm is equal to m common x1 plus x2 divided by m plus m, that is the 2m. mm cut out, we get a xcm is equal to x1 plus x2 divided by 2. So if the two objects having a same mass, right, the center of mass located at the center of the system of two particles, right? So understand, dear student. So how we can calculate the center of mass of the different system of the particles? Examples we will discuss in the next video, right? So dear student, keep watching my video.